to the tail of the tape. Diaz is 24, as is Nunes. Diaz has the height and reach advantage. Both come in at 160 pounds. Both have a boxing background. Diaz, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Nunes, also Muay Thai. Let's go through the rules of combat for Elite XC. The three judges will score the fight based equally on striking, grappling, aggression, and cage control. They'll score it on a 10-point must system. The winner of each round gets 10 points. The loser 9 or less. No knees to the head of a downed opponent. Only the referee or doctor can stop the fight. And again, a reminder, because it is an Elite XC world title fight, we are set for 5 5-minute rounds. Once again, here is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Corpus Christi, Texas, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 10 inches. He weighed in at 160 pounds. Raised in the disciplines of boxing and Muay Thai, his combined professional boxing and kickboxing record stands at 21 wins and 2 losses, with an MMA record of 4 wins, 1 defeat, and all 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing City Boxing, fighting out of San Diego, California, by way of Kailua Kona, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the hard-hitting lightweight contender, KJ. And his opponent across the cage on my right, fighting out of the red corner, standing 6 feet even. He weighed in at the same weight of 160 pounds, an all-around MMA fighter specializing in boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His record stands at 15 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest, with 7 knockouts and 5 submissions to his credit. Fighting out of Cesar Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu Academy, please welcome one of the world's recognized young stars of MMA from Stockton, California, introducing Nick Diaz. Once again, a referee in charge, Kerry Hatley, now to give instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, main event, back up, Nick, back up. Elite XC Lightweight Championship of the World. 5 5-minute rounds. Any questions from here? Any questions from here? Good luck, man. Go back to your corner. Right here, Nick.
John L. Sullivan was the first heavyweight boxing champion of the world. The Green Bay Packers, the first NFL Super Bowl champs. The first Major League Baseball World Series champion was Boston. Tonight, November 10th, 2007, another first takes place as Elite XC crowns its first 160-pound world champion. Who is it going to be? Nick Diaz or KJ Nunes? We're about to find out.
And notice how they don't touch gloves.
Ooh, nice body shot by Nunes.
Very vivid illustration of the reach advantage by Diaz, snatching that single leg. Nunes defending it along the cage.
It's a smart game plan already for Nick Diaz. We know he can bang standing up, but Nunes has got such a pedigree for stand-up fighting.
Nice escape by Nunes. And again, Nick Diaz, accumulative puncher, constant movement. This guy's participated in triathletes days after leaving the hospital.
Again.
KJ has got to be careful because he's dipping his head to his right.
But Nick Diaz telegraphing the shot a bit. Nunes able to sprawl.
What I was getting to is that Nick Diaz, if he's got a left roundhouse kick, if KJ moves his head to the right, throw the head kick.
Nick's an extremely tactical fighter. It's really interesting to watch him.
KJ fighting out of that crouch and landing that right hand at will to the body and stuffing all these takedowns.
Doing a very good job of stuffing the Nick Diaz takedown attempts. KJ Nunes, he gets tagged there by the right hand, and that's the one thing, constant movement, just like that big rabbit in the commercial, is Nick Diaz.
He can't take a lot of those guys. Later on, if it goes later, those are going to accumulate.
KJ Noons with a boxing pedigree. Nick Diaz also 1-0 as a pro boxer. He has trained with former WBA and WBC world champion Luisita Espinoza. Noons blocked that roundhouse and tags Diaz with that right hand.
KJ's gained a little confidence right here that he's stuffing those takedown attempts. Tries to stuff him with that knee that Edson Berto saw in his last time out.
And that time gets the knee, but Diaz looking for the takedown along the fence and manages to secure it.
He scooped that double leg and didn't give it up until Noons was on his back.
And Diaz has got a cut.
Diaz doing a good job of breaking the guard.
Uh-oh. Wow.
Nice escape by KJ Noons midway through round one. Noons putting on a little razzle-dazzle with that escape, as yes, a cut over the right eye of Nick Diaz.
And if you remember in the meetings, Nick brought to our attention, don't be surprised if I get cut early in the fight.
The 160-pound version of Pedro Hizzo, susceptible to cuts.
Let's go a little bit. Keep it out of his eye. All right, here we go, man. Here we go. Over here.
That cut is actually in a pretty bad place. It's right on the eye, right above the eyelid.
Yeah, you ready to go? You ready to go?
Under the brow, guys. It's go right into the eye. KJ's got to have some confidence.
Will this give KJ Noons confidence to pick up the pace a bit? Will this make Nick Diaz a desperate man? He's been here before. A veteran, and he gets tagged with that right hand.
A beautiful counter straight right put Nick Diaz down.
And no question about it, KJ Noons now smelling the blood, looking to attack Nick Diaz as he really put him down with that straight right hand.
KJ is making city boxing pretty proud right now, gentlemen.
Noons wanting Diaz to get back up on his feet.
And we got another cut.
And a high roundhouse blocked by Diaz. Diaz face beginning to show the toll of these shots from KJ Noons, and he's doing a great job of avoiding the takedowns attempts of Nick Diaz.
Well, look at the look in KJ Noons' eyes right now, gentlemen.
The one thing KJ Noons can ill afford to do is get overly confident and become reckless, knowing that Nick Diaz has been cut, and it seems to be over both eyes.
Stick and move, like I said earlier, guys. Stick and move.
Noons trying to come in at angles. Diaz now trying to hunt him down with those peppering left shots. And again, it may look like Nick Diaz is not hurting his opponent, but again, it's the cumulative effect. This is the Nick Diaz strategy, peppering KJ Noons now in the final minute.
And let's remember what Diaz's face looked like in the Gomi fight when he absolutely destroyed him at the end.
Another straight right from Noons.
There goes the mouthpiece.
Noons is using a lot of head movement and avoiding most of the significant shots that Diaz is throwing so far.
You got to wonder if Diaz sustains this for a couple rounds, how is the cardio going to come into play?
Are you surprised at KJ Noons' takedown defense at all, Stephen?
No, I'm not, because we saw a great takedown defense against Berto,
but against someone like Nick Diaz, who is so well schooled on the ground, and again with that reach and height advantage, it's been a round that definitely belongs to KJ Noons as Diaz tries for the takedown again. We're at the end of round one, a great opening 5 minutes.
Beautiful. As
Diaz and Noons battle for the Elite XC 160-pound world title.
You're good. Hey, look at me. You go in there, box him, and get the clinch for a takedown.
Okay, that cut in round one may be a result of that knee right there, which was shades of what KJ did against Berto. It was a beautiful counter to a shot. He's got a good instinct to do that. Let's take a second look at that. He's waiting, and he throws that knee perfectly as Diaz dives in for that double leg. Okay, here's KJ at his best. eating the low kick, but waiting patiently and throwing that counter right hand, which put Diaz down.
It's over.
The fight has been stopped. Dr. Robert Williams, who was looking closely at the cuts over Nick Diaz's left eye and the bridge of his nose, has deemed Nick Diaz unable to continue. Nick Diaz not happy with the decision. KJ Noons is your new Elite XC 160-pound world champion.
KJ Noons used every angle in the book standing up. And boy, he made Nick Diaz look like he'd been through the windshield of a car at 65 miles an hour.
And Nick Diaz is storming back to the dressing room. He cannot believe what has just transpired. And again, the safety of the fighter is paramount. Stephen, clarify what just happened. The referee inspecting the cuts over the left eye and the bridge of his nose. Obviously, the more serious was the cut over his eye.
Yeah, the cut over his eye, and he's got some blood from a couple different places, and he looked really bad. And you got to respect the official's decision here.
An emotional KJ Noons pulling off what has to be considered an upset. KJ Noons wins his first world championship here tonight in Corpus Christi via first round technical knockout. Again, Nick Diaz in the back. And I'm wondering what is going through his mind. Obviously, as you see, not very happy with what has transpired here tonight.
Nick Diaz never takes losing well.
There is a new champion in Elite XC. Let's make it official with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 1. Our ringside physician says the cuts are too bad. He advises to stop the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and he is now the new Elite XC World Lightweight Champion, KJ.
Bill Goldberg is standing by, and he will soon be joined by the new Elite XC 160-pound world champion, the belt being put around the waist of KJ Noons.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, along with you, love nothing more than blood and guts. But first and foremost, it's the fighter's safety that we have to worry about here, okay? Here's the doctor. He's going to tell you why he stopped the fight.
The fighter couldn't see well enough to protect himself. And in my professional opinion, he couldn't carry on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to respect that, okay? You got to respect it. Let's move to giving up some props for the new lightweight champion, KJ Noons. Now, KJ, you told us that you could finally eat, you could finally train, you could finally weight train. Do you think that made a difference getting in the ring? You think you had more power?
Yeah, you know, I got to, because the weight class went up and I got to eat a lot more and work out a lot better. You know, I know the fans are a little, you know, not too happy here because they stopped the fight, but, you know, I trained real hard and I fought real hard, and Nick Diaz is a great opponent. He's the best in the world. And, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. I just want to give a couple shout outs to my family. You know, this isn't like I've been doing this my whole life. I want to tell my mom and dad, you know, thanks, you know, this is a dream come true. I want to say thanks to my girlfriend, you know, 5 years, Melanie, she helped me out with all my training. I want to say thanks to, you know, my manager, Mark Dion, my trainers, Baruki, Vernon Lee, Eugene City Boxing, Rockstar, Dahui, all the way from Hawaii.
Okay, beautiful, man. We could thank the rest of the world later. Let's look at the replay here, and you tell me about this knee that caused that cut.
You know, I didn't expect him to come in so fast. I thought he was going to stay on me a little bit more, but you know, I work on my wrestling a lot with my wrestling buddies, you know, back home. So, you know, I just brought it back up. I wanted to keep it standing for the fights and keep it going. You know, I was ready for a war. But he got cut, unfortunately, and, you know, they had to stop it. But I trained real hard. I was ready to go 5 rounds, so it was good.
Here's the knockdown.
Wow. Ooh, man. I'm number 1 now, baby.
Well, if you say Diaz is number 1, you have just beaten the number 1, and you are now the man, kid. Gary Shaw gave you the opportunity to possibly be a world champion in MMA and a world champion in boxing. You've accomplished one of them.
Yeah.
What's next?
You know, a lot of people thought I was going to get erased in this fight, you know, and everybody says I can't win, you know, a title. I can't win nothing. And then, I said I want to win 2 titles. I came today. I accomplished my goal. I won 1. You know, my next goal is to win, you know, the 154 boxing title. And everybody's going to say I can't do that either. So the more people that say I can't do it, the more I'm going to want to do it. So, you know, I said I took Nick Diaz. Now in boxing, you know, Mayweather, De La Hoya, watch out because I'm coming. Tell me I can't do it because I'm going to do it, baby.
Well, you shut all those people up tonight, man. I got to congratulate you. Great job. Everybody, I know you're disappointed, but let's hear it for KJ Noons.
KJ Noons was signed by Elite Extreme Combat and President Gary Shaw to a MMA and boxing deal. He came in with a lot of hype in our first show back in February, took on Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. What was considered an upset, he was knocked out. Began the comeback trail, culminating tonight with this shocking victory over Nick Diaz for the Elite Extreme Combat 160-pound world title. But Steven, the thing that strikes me, Nick Diaz told us in the interview, the only way he thought KJ Noons would beat him and win the title was if he cut him over the eye, and that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what he did. The thing that impressed me about KJ Noons tonight was the angles he used, the takedown defense, and he just kept dropping bombs all fight long.
KJ Noons, your new Elite Extreme Combat world champion at 160 pounds. Bill Goldberg joins us once again. Bill, we saw KJ Noons shock the world in the main event. How about Kimbo Slice? We only got 19 seconds worth of his MMA debut. What do you think about the former street fighter turned elite fighter?
You know, it's a great progression for Kimbo. There's no question about it. This is a great move for him. It's something he's trained very, very hard for. There's no question about it. We saw that. I want to go back to KJ for a second. Now, the first time we saw KJ here, he got upset by Crazy Horse. And I got to tell you, that kid has got some cojones because he has worked hard and hard. He was an underdog versus Berto. He comes out and he wins. Underdog versus Diaz tonight. He wins the title. Ups to KJ Noons.
Let's go to the results of what was an entertaining night of fights here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Antonio Silva defeated Jonathan Weezork at the 3:12 mark of round 1 by way of submission with a rear naked choke. Kyle Noak defeated Dr. Seth Kleinbeck by TKO at the 4:22 mark of round 2 after a devastating elbow to the eyebrow. A very hyped up Jake Shields defeated Mike Pyle with a rear naked choke at the 3:39 mark of round 1. Internet street fighting legend Kimbo Slice, making his very first official mixed martial arts start, defeats Bo Cantrell by TKO. It only took 19 seconds. And in the main event, KJ Noons open cuts over Nick Diaz's eye on the bridge of his nose in round 1. The referee, the doctor, they stopped the fight at the end of the round. KJ Noons is the new Elite Extreme Combat lightweight world champion. One more look at your new champion, and to the victor go the spoils, the Elite Extreme Combat Dancers, KJ Noons, definitely full worth with the title around his waist as he defeats Nick Diaz, and a very good start to what he hopes to be a long championship reign.